There's a point every gardener hits, whether they're working a small homestead bed or a rough patch of backyard earth, where clay becomes the enemy. Tools bounce off it. Water won't enter it. Roots cling to the top few inches because the layer beneath feels like fired brick. And for many people, the instinct is always the same. Grab a tiller, break it apart, and force it into submission. But the deeper you go into historical land restoration, the more you find that tilling dense clay has rarely worked long-term. Civilizations that farmed marginal soils didn't break them open with metal. They blanketed them, fed them, and let biology do what iron never could. For the next minute, let's step briefly into the mindset of those old growers who built arable land without disturbing the subsoil. And let's connect their methods directly to a modern technique that can transform clay faster than tilling ever will. When you finish this guide, you'll understand why no-dig methods outperform mechanical tilling and how to apply them in your own clay-heavy garden with precision and confidence. The first truth to understand is that tilling clay makes the underlying problem worse. Clay behaves differently from loam or sandy soils. When you till clay, the fine particles break into dust that later reconsolidates into an even harder, less porous layer. This effect has been well documented in environments from Roman Britain to post-war Eastern Europe. Once the surface dries, the tilled clay binds itself more tightly than before. What seemed loose for a few weeks, well, it becomes heavily compacted again, making it difficult for water to soak in, gases to move, or roots to push through. This, honestly, is why so many new gardeners end up frustrated when they till clay over and over, but never see any real improvements. Every single pass of the tiller, in fact, just speeds up the collapse of the soil structure. No-dig methods, on the other hand, keep the clay structure intact while allowing microorganisms to carve channels through it naturally. These channels simply don't collapse in the way that tilled pore spaces do. They stay open because they're created and maintained by living roots, fungi, and worms, not by metal tools. This kind of biological restructuring, you see, is the foundation of every successful ancient clay rehabilitation method. The next truth is that organic cover, not mixing, is what actually transforms clay into fertile soil. Old farming cultures across Asia, the Near East, and the Mediterranean understood that clay responds best to heavy surface loading of organic matter. They didn't try to break clay apart. Instead, they smothered it with crop residues, manures, leaves, straw, and sometimes even woven mats of plant fibres. Over time, rainfall and decomposition pulled this carbon downward, binding with clay particles and forming stable aggregates. That is exactly what modern no-dig gardening replicates. To apply this method today, start by laying down a thick mat of organic material directly on top of the clay. This can be compost, manure, chopped leaves, grass clippings, shredded plant residue, or any combination of carbon-rich materials. The goal is to create a surface layer at least 10 to 15 centimeters deep. As this layer begins to break down, clay at the surface binds with the carbon and develops a crumb-like structure. This happens far faster than most people expect, within a single growing season, because clay has a natural affinity for carbon. Once carbon bonds with clay, the soil becomes friable, rather than sticky. The third truth is that a biological barrier speeds up clay transformation dramatically. This is where the ancient method becomes especially effective. Many historical growers, especially in East Asia, used what we now call a carbon barrier, a dense layer of easily decomposable material placed directly against the soil surface to feed worms and microbes aggressively. Today, the simplest version is cardboard or thick newspaper sheets covered by compost. But for clay, cardboard works especially well because it softens slowly and creates a microhabitat beneath it that stays moist even during drought. To apply this, place overlapping sheets of cardboard on top of the clay. Wet them thoroughly so they mold themselves to the ground. Then cover them with compost or a mixture of compost and mulch. This creates an immediate worm zone beneath the barrier. Worms congregate under the cardboard, leaving castings and tunnels that break up the clay from below. Meanwhile, roots from the plants above penetrate the compost layer first, then follow the worm channels into the clay, creating permanent openings. This method is highly practical for any gardener dealing with hard-packed clay. It requires no heavy equipment, no digging, and, well, surprisingly little material once the first layer is established. The fourth truth is that planting into the new top layer accelerates the process even further. Fast-rooting crops such as beans, squash and cucumbers, well, they send roots downward quickly, creating these remarkable biological passageways. Deep-rooting crops like daikon radish or sorghum, can be added in the second season to pierce the clay even further. This, in fact, mirrors ancient biological tilling techniques where farmers planted specific crops solely to fracture the soil naturally. An example of this approach is, planting a mixture of legumes and taproot crops after the first layer settles. Legumes increase microbial nitrogen, while taproots, pry into the clay. At the same time, the cardboard breaks down and collapses into the soil, leaving a rich, worm-worked foundation. The final truth is that no-dig methods work faster than tilling because they build instead of break. Tilling fractures clay only temporarily. No-dig, on the other hand, converts clay into stable soil. When you add carbon from the top, protect the surface, encourage worm activity, and let roots do the deep work, clay turns into workable earth quickly and, honestly, permanently. If this guide helped you understand how ancient no-dig methods can transform even the heaviest clay, make sure you subscribe to Hydrohaven, share this video with fellow history and survival enthusiasts, and stay tuned for more practical, time-tested ways to build resilient soil.